If a company came to me and I look at their budget, kind of what the average order value, I mean, some people don't like to know how much they make, but you've got to let the SEO and digital person know that, because then they kind of have a bandwidth of kind of how much they can kind of spend or ask them to spend. I mean, how I deal with it is I kind of like, I sort of sit down with them, we go through a plan and we go through what's expected, like forecast. And it's funny when you talk about SEO and PPC, but in my corporate world, I had to forecast everything because I had a board of directors and they don't really care about being one in position. They care about bottom line and how much cost they've done. And because I've had that experience, you can give a rough estimation based on, my knowledge, with the caveat that actually it's going to take a lot of the client's going to need to put some content on there or kind of have a bit of feedback. And there's a lot of things in the market that might affect it, but you kind of have an idea that, if you're going to do sponsored ads, depending on the niche of the business, isn't it? You should be making, I would say, every £1 spent, probably make about £5 back. That's on average. I mean, I was working with one client who was doing massaging for, really top end Harrods, and he had his own, like £2,000-3,000. I mean, I could spend a lot of money there because he was really niche. Whereas if it's someone selling cups and mugs and plates, it's going to be there's lots of
£10 product.
It's going to
there's
be
not
very
a lot of margin
difficult,
in there to spend on marketing.
Yeah. So I mean, that guy there was with his kitchens. I would say he'd probably need to spend more than that because it depends on what location he's looking at as well. So
competition.
I mean, the good thing about Google right now is it's massively into audiences. So, but you've got to run it for a month before it kind of actually defines the audience, and you still need someone to keep an eye on that audience. Because to give you an example, I was working with a client the other week, and we were targeting display. So we were doing apps, and the apps we did were business people. Well, that could be anyone, right? And when we were looking at the apps that they were looking at, it was all children's apps. And when we looked into even further, it's because I'm assuming they were given to their children, who then from their mobile, their phones, and seeing ads to a B2B underground mapping company.
Yeah. So just a waste of money.
Just a waste of money.
Wrong audience. Wrong placement. Wrong network.
But we didn't know that until we tested.